Hey, break down Caleb's fight and Charlo's fight real quick. And then
Break down.
Please, I'm happy to do so. Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Hey, they're not fighting each other. Every time I say Caleb playing and Charlo's fighting,
That's why I said they fight separately.
But I'm just saying, me talking to other people.
Yeah.
Have you got that
I got
too?
that this morning.
Okay, you getting that too?
What was
Caleb playing and Charlo's fighting this weekend. That's a fight? I'm like, no, they're not fighting each other.
Dang. No, I feel bad.
Are we going?
I'm out of town this week.
Okay, well, I have to make some phone calls.
And I told somebody like, yo, I think I booked prematurely. And then they was like, yo, you got to go to that fight. And I was like, well, they're not fighting each other. They're like, oh, okay, well then just come on out. I was like, dang, like it goes from go to like not go like that, you know? Go ahead, break it down.
Looking forward to covering some boxing in Vegas.
Gotta be.
And I get insecure and sensitive about my credibility. I did some material for this fight, and some of the people in the comments like, oh, Sean's a PBC shill, or here he is shilling for the fight, and
PBC who?
A shill, like, you know, you're so. What I said in the piece was Charlo, when he's firing on all cylinders, is a really complete fighter. But key phrase being, you know, firing on all cylinders, which I haven't seen him fire on all cylinders since the Derevianchenko fight. And just to call a spade with this card, on paper, it's one of the biggest mismatched doubleheaders, you know, you could think of in a while. With prominent names headlining the card.
Until you consider the circumstances.
Right, that Charlo is, coming off such a big layoff that it gives LaManna a better chance than ever.
And Caleb too. You know, Caleb's in the division where, you know, the belts are kind of, you know, busy right now for the sake of words, and then there's no like another big name for him to get in the ring with. So, you know, not to say he's settling or we're settling, but, you know, this just ain't the name you would expect a Caleb Plant to be in the ring with.
No, and to give Caleb his due on that, his context, he wanted Berlanga badly. You know, let everybody and their mother know he wanted to fight Edgar Berlanga. Berlanga opted to do the route he has, which is his right, but that's where he was interested in. And it's not like Diego Pacheco is banging down the door, hounding Caleb Plant for a fight. And neither is Christian Mabili. So he's fighting Resendiz, who is really a middleweight, who's been stopped by Elijah Garcia. Resendiz is a quintessential Mexican fighter.
Quintessential?
Yeah, like he reminds me of a little bit of Pedro Campa, who Tio stopped a couple years ago. Pedro Campa. I wouldn't say he's even as good as like Oscar Duarte. You know, I wouldn't put him on that tier of Mexican fighters. He's a tough, rugged, come forward, in shape, 26-year-old Mexican fighter who's he's gonna give it everything he's got. He should be outclassed by Caleb. Caleb's skill and level should just be too much for this kid.
Counter shot.
Yeah, but Caleb potentially could just have his way in there and do what he wants. He could even fight him on the inside like he did Macumbi, you know, and outdo him there potentially. But I think it'd be fun if Caleb did that to make a statement, but it might not be smart, you know. But it'd be fun to watch if Caleb's like, "Hey, I'm boxing Resendiz, he's 0 off, but I'm gonna fight in the phone booth just to make a point to the Mexican fans, because he's got Mexican fans now from fighting Canelo and Benavidez." LaManna has the better chance at the upset, just off the Charlo being as inactive as he's been. LaManna has won 39 professional fights. You know, it kind of reminds me of Steve Claggett. Like, Steve Claggett, people thought he was going to get put out by Tio in 5 or 6 rounds. But this is a professional who's been in this game a long time, been in a lot of gyms, and you don't get to about 40 professional wins and only 5 losses without knowing some tools of the trade, knowing what you're doing and how to handle yourself as a solid professional. So with Charlo having the layoff he's had and hasn't looked really good since the Derevianchenko, you know, that gives LaManna an opportunity here to beat a fighter he couldn't have beat if this was a couple years ago, because Charlo at 60, man, Charlo to me is one of the biggest what ifs of this era. Jamal Charlo, at one point, you could look at the tools and say, this guy could beat Canelo or Golovkin at 160. I remember kind of feeling that way because he was taller than them, and he had a heavy jab, and he could counter, and he had power, and he checked so many boxes. he is easily one of the biggest what ifs of this generation. If I had to put my money on it, unfortunately, I'd say he's never going to realize that potential. But with everything he's been through, I just want to see him pull his life together with the sport, and that'll be a good enough story for me.
Yeah.
It's a shame he'll probably never, because Jermell became undisputed, and most of us thought Jermall was even better than him.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. On paper, it's a couple of mismatches, but Resendiz, tough Mexican fighter, in shape. LaManna's rebuilt himself with 9 wins. He's fighting Charlo off a long layoff. You don't know what kind of Charlo you're going to get. The best case scenario, I think everyone involved is hoping for, is that Charlo surprises people and looks so good that now there is real anticipation for him and Caleb Plant to fight. So we'll see what we get.
That's what I hope to get. That's what I expect to get. What about you, Antt?
The only thing I think LaManna...
Want me to get you some tickets?
Yeah, we can make it happen.
Take the lady?
No, then I got to figure out the kid situation.
Right, yeah.
I think she retired when you retired. She said she's not going to fall in love with nobody else in boxing. She's done with it. I don't know. Like, the best chance, I think, is LaManna with the upset, but only thing he has on his side is activity. I think talent-wise, I'm going with Charlo. Just what Charlo shows up. Is he focused? At one time, he had one of the top 5 jabs in boxing?
Definitely.
But my man only fought 2 times since 2021. My other man fought 11 times since 2021. Maybe that's a difference, but let's see what talent does to him. And I don't know, man. I just want to see Charlo. I think Charlo needs boxing more than boxing needs Charlo. And I just think you need to lock in, bro, and get into the boxing game. Hopefully, if both sides handle their business, we get Plant Charlo. Let's get him back. Sean always say 3 months. Let's keep this boy active. I think it'll help Charlo in the long run too, man. I want to see boxing save Charlo.
I think 3 months, 4 months tops. I like Charlo in his last fight. Thought he showed patience. He showed this calmness
I didn't expect.
Yeah, he showed a calmness that I hoped that I would see. I don't think either of the Charlos, I don't think have ever been these like extremely intelligent, I'm gonna step here, make you step there. They've never been fighters that like really build the blocks and make this a beautiful arrangement before the knockout.
Even though they have skills.
Yeah, even though they have skills,
Yeah.
It's like, put this block here, put this block here, that block, and here it comes, But with the patience that I saw in this last fight, it seemed to me like, and I know you've spoken on it before, but what's going on outside of the ring, beautiful thing about it is, like I've said before, when you step into the ring, life stops, the world stops. The only thing that happens, the only thing that matters is what's going on in the ring. And I think that he becomes a testament to that when you look back at his fight against Jose Benavidez. He becomes a testament of it didn't matter what he was going through. He came in, he showed poise, he showed that he had hunger, and kind of the list goes on. So that's what I expect to see from him in this fight. I expect to see him be just as patient. I think LaManna is going to get him excited just enough that LaManna is going to walk into that big right hand that he's got, and it's going to take however long LaManna decides for it to take, because I think Jermall truly has found the style that he's going to be until he's done boxing, which is going to be this patient style. If you're not doing anything, I'll try to be a little assertive, but I'm going to sit back and wait on that perfect right hand. And the thing that I know about both of them brothers, and I talked to their dad about it, where does this right hand come from? Because their right hand is like Ryan Garcia and his brother's left hook. It's special. Their left hook is special. It's different, the way they throw it, the whole 9, the timing of it, all that kind of stuff. And for these guys, it's their right hand, So I think the right hand lands. And then for Caleb, what we already know, Caleb's always gonna be him. And he's always gonna be. For Caleb, it don't matter what level he getting in the ring with, he gonna always shine and be the best version of himself.
He'll probably have a good degree of showmanship.
You talking about Caleb, right?
Yeah. He's going to do some saucy highlight reel.
Yeah.
Because usually when he's in this kind of fight whether it was Mike Lee or Vincent Feigenboots. The Truax fight, not as much, but Mike Lee, Vincent it didn't just look good. It looked sexy. Like, you know, he puts together flashy combinations, does some shimmies. And so I think we might get some of that in this fight. It might be a fun showcase fight. And then for now that you talked about it, Charlo LaManna, I think what happens is Charlo's going to get touched in that fight because he's rusty. And I think that's where his rust really shows up more, is the reflexes getting out of the way. But I think as that rust goes off, LaManna likes to go to the body a lot, even though he's a tall guy. I think Charlo finds him with the right hand at some point in the fight. Yeah. But he's probably going to get touched up a little bit early. You know, LaManna's going to put some combinations together. Nothing too dangerous to scare Charlo, but he'll.
I would love for Plant not to play with his food and let people know. This might be the last run. And hey, if I'm going on, I'm going on it.
Yeah, I
don't see you starting over again.
Yeah.
This might be the last run, but I would love him not play with his food, get through this guy, get through Charlo, then get him a mega fight. Charlo Plant is a good fight, but I don't think it's Berlanga, stuff like that's a different level. Back in the day, yeah, but
no, the fight, it's not a big money fight, but I like the Pacheco fight. Caleb and Pacheco from
yeah.
Just because I look at Caleb as outside of Canelo, obviously, as the toughest veteran in the division, tough from a skills standpoint and experience, all that. And so and I look at Pacheco as the best of the young guys in that division. So that's why I'd want to see it. I kind of that would tell me a lot about the division outside of Canelo.
Call me crazy. Plant versus Charlo, Pacheco, Berlanga. 3-0. The team wins all those fights.
For Plant?
Yeah. I think Plant wins all those fights.
Charlo, Berlanga.
Pacheco.
I got a feeling Pacheco might get him.
Might get Plant?
Cause the youth and the size.
Oh, see, I'm going with experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take the young guy.
Okay.
By an inch.
I see 3-0, but if any out of those three, it would Diego, I think could give him a run.
Give him a run. And that fight, I'm going with the more blacker guy.
Of course.